What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with Imagine Life Development Center. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at something that every single human being struggles with, which is something called uncertainty. We all struggle with uncertainty throughout our lives, and most people, or maybe some people, struggle with uncertainty more than others. So we would define uncertainty as the fear of the unknown, the fear of stepping outside of our comfort zones, embracing change, maybe pursuing our purpose or our passions in life, going after things or doing things that are not normal or usual for us, right? All of these things that require us to rely upon our true inner resources, which is what I believe true spirituality is. Spirituality is not about God, religion. It's not about, paraphernalia. It's not about the clothes you wear. It's not about jewelry. It's not about candles, tarot cards, or any of these things that are all tied into the spiritual genre. True spirituality is just one's connection, one's aware connection, self-aware connection to oneself. In other words, what do I mean by that? To be a consciously aware being means that you know what you know. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but there's a lot of people who are wandering around in the world in the matrix, disconnected, asleep at the wheel, disconnected from the realities. You're just waking up, going through life, doing the same things, having the same, doing the same things, getting the same outcomes in life. And it's a very unconscious way of living. It's habituated. Your body is kind of on an autopilot, right? When you become aware, when you take the red pill in the movie The Matrix and you become awakened, you become aware of something greater that lies within you, a power, a gift, a resource, a talent, an idea. There's something inside of you that you start to become aware of, in addition to the awareness of things that maybe a lot of people would rather not become aware of. You become more aware of your own problems, your own weaknesses, your own traumas, the own experiences. There's things within you that you start to become aware of. You're like, oh my gosh, I have all these things in me that are, maybe areas that need attention, that need growth, that need healing, right? So we don't get to choose what that awareness or what comes along with that awareness, which brings me to another quick point about spiritual awakenings. When you have a spiritual awakening, you become awakened to, many things. We don't get to selectively choose the thing that we are becoming spiritually awakened to. You just become awakened to all sorts of things. Spirituality or faith, rather, what I consider faith in regards to true spirituality is trusting that whatever is revealed to you in that moment or any moment that you are going through a spiritual awakening, because we go through multiple spiritual awakenings, just like healing isn't a one-time thing in your life. Spiritual awakenings aren't a one-time thing in our lives. Just like learning, going to school, or, coming to understand something, any type of learning or knowledge isn't a one-time event in our lives. We are students of life. In other words, for the rest of our lives, as long as there's life in this avatar, in this body of ours, we're going to continue to learn things every day, all the time. It's a continual act of growth and evolution. And as we move to a new level, there are always new things to become aware of. And so self-awareness, spiritual awakenings, all these terms and terminologies and all these things, really, they're different words and different language for the same thing, which is just us becoming aware of something inside of ourselves that evolves and grows. Ideally, it evolves or grows, or, it contracts and it dies. And that's where all of our unfulfillment in life stems from. Contraction, withering away, dying, sitting here, like, putting water out. You can set purified water on your countertop and leave it there. And eventually that water, after 2 weeks of just sitting there, stagnating on your countertop, that water is no longer pure, right? Because it was sitting there, it was stagnating. And many people go through life that way. Yes, you may age more, your body's aging. You become a year older. Yes, you continue to go to your work every day and you continue to do the same things that you've always done. But to me, that's the unconscious life. That's staying plugged into what we call the matrix, the programming, right? The way that the world tells you were supposed to live, which is unconscious, unaware, powerless. You're relying upon the system to provide you with your certainty and your security. Whereas the spiritual journey requires courage. It requires you to step outside of your comfort zone. And so in this video, what we're going to discuss basically is spiritual uncertainty. In other words, this video is from a live tarot reading that I did for a woman, and I mispronounced her name because I didn't pay attention to the spelling of her name in the chat, which I do apologize for. But I call her Rhonda. That is not the pronunciation of her name, but it's okay. I apologize to her because I care about these things. But we are going to continue to acknowledge her as Rhonda here, which is fine. And so in this video, I am doing a reading for Rhonda. And we're going to discuss and talk about this concept of spiritual uncertainty is what I would like to call it. So her question in the chat, and I just want to explain it here because it may not be very clear once we get into the video. You'll be like, well, what was the person's question? I don't understand what the question was. So I just want to take a minute to explain that, to set the stage for what the reading is, so the reading will make sense, basically. Her question was, what is her challenge spiritually? What is her spiritual challenge in her life right now? And then that led into her reading, which you will see coming up here. So if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well. All the other information you need to know is in the description box below. You may also want to press the bell icon. You will be notified when I go live, and you can come join me for a free live tarot reading and stay updated with the channel and all the happenings. So stay tuned, and let's jump into the video. I must have missed it. What is my current challenge? Okay. Spiritual growth. Challenges for spiritual growth. Okay, no problem. In no particular order, we're going to start here. We're going to start here because this is the problem that we all have. The problem that we all have is when you are a spiritual being, well, we're all spiritual beings, but when you know that you have a spiritual gift and you live in a very superficial world, or you live in a world that you don't feel like you belong in, or you feel alienated from, or you feel different, you feel weird, the world can be a harsh place for us spiritual people because we know that we're not like everybody else in the sense that we don't just accept the matrix for what it is. However, we're still human. We don't want to be judged. We want to be accepted. We would love to feel like we'd all come out of the spiritual closet and just be our witchy woo-woo selves and all these things. But it's not that simple. It's not that easy, because if it was, we'd all be doing it, right? So I can relate to that in saying that, again, just like I was saying a minute ago earlier when I was doing Roberto's reading, that I've had to wrestle myself into coming out here and doing this, even though it's uncomfortable for me. Even now, there's a level of discomfort in it. It's not like I'm sitting here just like, oh man, this is the shit. Like, man, this is amazing, right? Um, but even despite the tension or the anxiety that I feel, or the whatever level of discomfort that I have that exists in the doing of this thing, the amount of fulfillment, the stimulation, the profoundness of it all to me is far outweighs it. You know, it's like I'm here within myself, observing myself doing this thing as it's happening, but I disassociate it as well. It's like, yes, here I am saying these things. It's me, it's my body, it's my voice, but there's almost like this part of me that's observing me doing it, that's fascinated by it. But it's also very gratifying, it's very fulfilling, you know, because it's like, man, this is so fucking cool. And it's fun. It's super fun. Like, it's super fun, it's super cool. It's stimulating for me, it's exciting in a way. And when you get to that point within yourself and your spiritual growth and your spiritual journey where you can just let go and you're just allowing whatever that thing is inside of you to just be and come out and express itself, even though it's, you know, there's that tension there, there's that anxiety there, there's always that little bit of like that little bit of discomfort, that little bit of something there. It doesn't matter even if it's almost non-existent, but there's that little bit of something there. There's that, it still serves you. It's like a fuel. There's something in there that it's like, yeah, like there's always a little smidge of fear, and it's not fear in the traditional sense of the way we think of fear, but it's more of like living in the moment of uncertainty. That's what it is. Because there's this beautiful moment, and man, I hope all of you guys are listening to this. Like this is not just for Rhonda. Okay, this is a collective message that we can all, like, it's giving me chills. There is a beautiful, powerful moment that so many spiritual teachers try to explain in their videos and their books and all these things, right? About the power of now and detachment and the art of letting go and the art of allowing and all these different words and language and terminologies and things. And really what it is, it's being in the doing of that spiritual thing where it's not 100% you, but it's not 100% the universe. It's a delicate moment of being in a co-creative or a collaborative environment where you know you're aware, just like I am right now. I'm aware that I'm here and I'm aware of my presence in my body and what I'm doing, what I'm saying. I'm aware of the reality that I'm experiencing, but there's a part of me that's not. There's a part of me that is allowing that force to come through me, right? And so it's like part of it is the universe, God, source, universe, spirit, that's doing something that I don't have control over because I'm allowed. I mean, I have control over me. I could turn it off. I could stop this. You know, I could jump full back into my ego and say, nope, done. Not allowing God, source, universe, or spirit to come through me and operate and do its thing with me. Keyword, with me. But when I allow that force to come through me, the fear that I was speaking about just a second ago is the sensation of uncertainty, because that part of what's happening, I am not in control of. And that's a very interesting place for a lot of people to be in, because most people are fucking control freaks. Most people are control freaks. If we all just have to be honest with ourselves, we don't like not having control. And so anytime that we step into our spiritual purpose or our spiritual calling, a lot of times we misunderstand the sensation of fear or anxiety that I've been talking about for something that it's not. If that makes sense to you guys, okay? Like, you're not experiencing fear in terms of you're afraid of doing the thing. You're just experiencing a space. You've created space for this, for God, source of the universe, to come in and do and work through you and be a part of what you're doing that you're not completely in control of, because you've allowed, through your free will choice, you've created space, or you've created an allowance for the universe, God, source, the spirit to work through you. And that's why it's called a spiritual gift, right? Like, we all have gifts and talents within us to do lots of things, but not all of those gifts and talents are necessarily spiritual, right? Some people would tell you maybe they are, but I disagree. Not everything that you're good at is necessarily spiritual, right? The things that are truly spiritual, or your true spiritual gifts, are those things that require you to make an allowance for spirit to be present in the operation of whatever that thing is, if that makes sense. So what I'm doing here is a spiritual gift, because if I'm just using my logic, I can never do this. I can memorize these cards. Like, I've got the book, like, I got all the books. Here are the meanings of the cards. Oh, what is this card here? This card here. Okay, there it is. It says here, this is what this card means. And I'm not saying that those meanings are wrong, or I'm not saying that for most people, or for people that want to just buy the cards and use the meanings, that will serve a purpose, and it will take you so far, right? But anybody can do that. So anybody that can get on Amazon and buy a deck of cards with a book can get information by doing this. But that doesn't mean that they have a spiritual gift doing this. There's a difference, right? Because they're limited to their knowledge. They're limited to what they know. They're limited to their self. There's not that space. There's not that opening for the divine to come through you, right? So how does this relate to Rhonda? So Rhonda, how this relates to you and to all of us is we have to learn to get very comfortable with uncertainty. We have to, for all of you out there that are listening to this, please hear me. If you feel like you have a spiritual calling, which I believe most of you probably do if you're here on my channel, because those are the people that I attract into my life and my hemisphere, whether you think you do or not, you probably have a spiritual call in your life. And your fulfillment, the actual fulfillment that's possible for your life, not just the thing that you're looking for right now, like, hey, I want to know if my ex is going to come back. I want to know if I'm going to find love this year. I want to know if I'm going to make more money. Am I going to get the new job? I'm going to get the house, but whatever the thing is, right? Like we're all, that's our ego being busy worried about all the things in life that we think we need, or we think we don't have, or what we need to have in order to be happy and to be satisfied and to live and to function and all these things. All of our worries, all of our fears, all of our doubts, our scarcity, our security, our concerns. And there's a place for that. I'm not demonizing that. I'm human. I experienced that too. But, this is a big old but. The but is, if you have a spiritual calling, your true fulfillment, I'm talking about the fulfillment that's lasting, the fulfillment that transcends all of your normal needs and all that shit, will only come when you allow this God, source, the universe, to collaborate through you and with you. And you're tapped into whatever that thing is for you, just like I'm doing right now. Now, this isn't the end-all be-all of what my spiritual purpose is, but it's a big part of it, right? So me being here and serving the collective as a messenger is a part of my spiritual calling, because I have to rely upon spirit to be here to do this, or I couldn't do it because I don't have the intelligence for it. But when I show up and I allow that spiritual gift to operate through me, I mean, I say shit that I have to go back to these, I have to go back through these long, live things. And I'm like, I said something here and I said something there. I remember saying something about this. Like, I remember saying all these things, and I go back and I try to find when I said those things, because I'm like, that was for me. That was for me. I need to remember that. That spoke to me. So I'm out here, I'm giving messages to you guys, but just as much as I'm giving messages to you guys, it's like the divine is speaking to me. It's like I'm preaching to myself, basically. And I don't know about you guys, but there's some shit that comes through me, and this isn't a brag on me, because it's not me. It's the universe speaking through me. Obviously, there's some treasure that comes through sometimes, and I'm like, man, like I can't speak for anybody else. I mean, I can cross my fingers and I hope that they got the gold in that, but I know for damn sure I'm gonna go grab that gold, because if I could apply that to my life would change. And so, again, that's the beauty of why I try to do the channel the way that I do, because you guys, what you don't know is you're coming here with questions, and the answers that come through from the divine, they're for you, but you're also bringing treasure to your friends, to your fellow human beings. You're calling forth messages that come through me that could apply to other people, because if you had not come here to ask this question, those messages may not have come through me. And those messages, if you're paying attention, you're not just, well, it's Rhonda's turn, it's not my question, so I'm just going to go check out, which is fine. You can do that. But if you're here and you're actually paying attention, you'll realize, like, man, there's some gold in this shit, right? And so, but anyways, the point of all this, and the point for you, Rhonda, going back to your reading now specifically, while I still speak to the collective, is there is a level of, for lack of better words, there's a level of discomfort in the uncertainty of operating in your spiritual gift that, to my knowledge at this point in my journey, has not gone away. Because you don't know. You're surrendering to allow something, and you don't know what's going to happen, because it's happening in real time. It's happening on the fly. But that's the beauty. When you release and you let go, when you allow that thing, that force to come through you on the fly, that's when the magic happens. And when you try to start to micromanage it, or you allow the ego to get involved, that's when that the whole thing just implodes, right? And so that, the reason I'm sharing that is because it's absolutely tied to what's going on here in your reading areas with power, with this deep knowing card, which is about deep knowing, deep trusting yourself, deep trusting in the divine inside of you. It's not so much knowledge that I feel or sense that you don't have. Like, you have a lot of knowledge. It's trusting. It's transcending the knowledge. Like, you've gone to spiritual school, you've gone to spiritual college, and you graduated and you got the degree. You have a PhD and a doctorate in spirituality. Cool. Great. You got the certificate, it's mounted on the wall, blah, blah, blah. That's not the challenge, the spiritual challenge for you. The spiritual challenge is learning how to get comfortable in the discomfort of allowing that part of spirit to come through you, so that you can see your power. You can actually see the fullness of your spiritual gift functioning and operating, right? And that's how you get confidence. That's how you learn, I can do this. This is how you learn. Wow, actually, I'm kind of fucking good at this. Oh, actually, I can do this. Actually, I do have that gift. Actually, I can create that thing. Oh, actually, I am good at blah, 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 blah. Uncertainty is a lack of experience. That's all uncertainty is, just like an insecurity. When people say, I'm insecure, right? Oh, they have insecurities. Well, all an insecurity is just an undiscovered part of oneself. I'm insecure about my ability to be a leader until I go out and I become a leader and I find out that I can be a leader. And once I experience that I can be a leader and that I can do this and I don't suck and I'm not a complete failure at it, I don't have an insecurity anymore, right? So that's all an insecurity is. It's just a part of myself that I haven't discovered. And look at how insecurity robs so many people of their happiness and fulfillment all the time. People in love and relationships, right? I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. Right? Well, what do you need to find about yourself to feel good enough? What do you need to discover? What part of yourself has been left undiscovered by you so that you have the confidence that you know that that part of you actually is good enough? That's just a side example. Not related to your reading, Rhonda, but that's just a side example for people in regards to insecurity. But it's no different. It's no different. Uncertainty is no different, right? And so what Spirit is wanting to show you, and so again, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because you have a power. Okay, if we start here, you have a power. The power that you have is a spiritual power. You know that you have a power because the deep knowing card is here. You've known that you've had this gift. You know you've been spiritual. You know you have something. Whatever that thing is that you know that you know that you have it. You just may not be confident about it because you haven't allowed Spirit to work through you so you can have the level of confidence about the knowing that you're actually capable at the level that you actually are. Which is why we have this material and spiritual prosperity card here, because it's saying everything. This card could basically be translated as your fulfillment, your financial fulfillment, your spiritual fulfillment, which is obviously the most important type of fulfillment because it deals with the fulfillment of your soul, your spirit's fulfillment. But all of your fulfillment, love, money, all of it is tied to this card. But you can't access your true spiritual fulfillment until you step into your power, right? Which, requires, again, that level of trust. Allowing that spiritual force to come through you to prove to you that you actually have the power at the level that you actually do, regardless of whether you believe you have it at that level or not. So that's part of your challenge. Here we have the emotional loss card in reverse. So this is saying there are things, because everything is energy, that's science. That's not spiritual bullshit. That's actual science. Everything is energy. Emotions are a form of energy. The emotional loss card in reverse is saying that there are certain negative emotions that will define. I'm still holding onto this card. I'm gonna hold on to this card because I gotta explain this in just a second. There are certain negative emotions that we will define as resistance. Right? So any type of negative emotion that is resistance. Now, if I could somehow, let me see here if I can get this for you. Let me. Diagram. Yeah. And I'm gonna. Yeah, I like this one. Okay, so there's a diagram. I'm going to drop this into the chat. I'm dropping a link in. Oh, shit. It's too long. Oh, never mind. Okay, so go and Google this and do a image search. Very simple. Just do a Google image search for this. Power versus force diagram. And what you're going to see is a bunch of diagrams of emotions, a spectrum of emotions, okay? And obviously, there are certain emotions that vibrate at a higher frequency, and there's certain emotions that vibrate at a lower frequency. Very simple diagram. The ones that are below, basically, the ones that are below courage and going down from that point, we will call those resistance. So any emotions that you experience on the lower end of that image, those are resistant emotions or cause resistance. And so what the universe is trying to show you is those emotions that you experience are attached to something that you haven't let go of. So there's something in your life that you haven't let go of that's creating these emotions of resistance. And those emotions of resistance are like a cancer. They're bleeding out and they're affecting other areas of your life, which are also affecting your ability to step into your power and actually trust spirit in the universe. Because we've been habituated our entire life to believe that what we feel is real. So you have a thought, you experience an emotion as a result of having a thought, you feel it in your nervous system, and as you feel it in your nervous system, you think it's real. And so we respond to feelings because our nervous system experiences it, or we experience it in our body as a result of our nervous system. So this emotional loss card is basically saying, hey, there's some things within you, you have some negative emotions that are creating resistance that are kind of working against you. It's not the most important part of this message, but it's a component that you need to be aware of. It could be tied, though, to this recognition and reward, which is the old outdated system of punishment and reward. Most of us were raised as children, we learned from punishment and reward. If you do what mommy and daddy say, you're good, you get loved, you get accepted. If you don't do what mommy and daddy say, you get punished, right? Very black and white. That's how most of us are raised. And then we have a format and a blueprint, a mental blueprint that's created as a result of that. That blueprint lives within us from a very young age. It's deep within our subconscious programming. We grow up and we still have this outdated blueprint that our parents gave to us when we were being raised. And so what's interesting is underneath this recognition and reward. And so again, this is tied to this emotional loss. So there's something about your belief about what it means to be recognized and be rewarded that is tied to these negative emotions that you need to let go of, because underneath this card we have move on. And I didn't know that was there, by the way. This move on card, I did not know was underneath this card. I'm just now seeing it because I lifted that. Now, if that's not enough, we also have mental conflict, because the ego's got to get involved. Because you can't have an emotion separate from the mental state, the mental story, the mental perception that you have, or the mental belief that you have about whatever a thing is. You can't, right? So that's what the mental conflict is about. So this is how people get stuck into negative cycles their whole life. They have an experience and they attach a meaning to that experience, which creates a story. And then as a result of the experience they have, there is an emotion that they feel in their body. Well, the mind, the brain goes, was that a good feeling or a bad feeling? It checks in with the body, and the body's like, well, that was bad. So the brain goes, oh, okay, well, we don't like that. So it categorizes that experience as bad. So now you have this belief in your mind that ABC XYZ equals bad. So every time you come into contact with ABC XYZ, the brain goes bad. So the brain triggers the negative emotion in your body to let you know, hey, this is bad. But that's unrealistic, because there's lots of experiences that we have all of the time that aren't the exact same thing as those past experiences, right? But our brain doesn't know that, because our brain doesn't give two shits about keeping us happy. Our brain cares about keeping you safe. It's the most primitive part of our brain. So that's one side of this mental conflict. The other side of this mental conflict, there's things about your life you've been confused about for a while now, hence the reason why you're probably even asking this question. And so again, that mental conflict has created resistance that has been affecting your ability to tap into your true spiritual power, which brings me back to this card that I've been holding on to, which is all that glitters, which is gold, which is essentially the mask that we all wear, pretending to be something that we're not, because we're too afraid to step into the thing that we know that we could be or should do, because we're just scared shitless to do it. And that's me preaching to the choir again. This is us. This card is you're coming out of the closet. For everybody watching, all that glitters is gold is your coming out party. This is you coming out of the closet. I'm whatever that is for you. I'm a weird, spiritual, woo-woo, witchy, tarot, psychic, talk to dead people, whatever the thing is that you're morbidly afraid of the world knowing about you. So you hide. We all hide behind these masks, right? And the longer we stay behind the mask, the more hypnotized we become with other people who wear the mask. And this is why that we end up in situations and circumstances that are not aligned to us, because we start to believe our own bullshit. The longer you wear the mask, the longer you will believe your own bullshit. And then the more you believe your bullshit, the easier it is to believe other people's bullshit, because they're wearing their mask too, and they're just showing up and going, hey, I'm full of shit. I'm here to bullshit you. And you're like, nice, cool. Yeah, come on in. Bullshit me. Be fake. Be phony. Hide who you really are. Don't show me who you really are. Oh, you're fucked up. You're a cheater. Oh, you do this. You do that. Oh, if I talk shit about me, you're going to leave me. You're going to abandon me. Oh, you're going to do all that. Yeah, come on in. Come on in. But we allow it because we attract it because of this. We believe our own bullshit because we wear that mask for so long. So now we're susceptible to believing other people's bullshit. That's the reality of how the world works. The world is a mirror. Okay? So this card, the reason I said this is the center part of your reading, Rhonda, is because this is the ultimate challenge. The ultimate challenge is in order for you to step into your power and do all these things, to access the happy energy, the happy card, and to do all these things here at the bottom. A message is trying to reach you. Well, what's the message that's trying to reach you? This message right now. That it's time to trust yourself, embrace that uncertainty, embrace the unknown feeling of the divine working through you to show you that you have the power to do the thing that maybe you didn't think that you had the power to do. Or for you to gain the evidence of being the thing that you've been afraid of being, so that you can prove to yourself that you're capable of being it. And that by being it, the universe isn't going to, throw you overboard, throw you into the deep end of the pool and give you the middle finger and say, fuck you, I'm out. It's not a test. It's not a trial. It's not a game. The universe is saying, no, the happy is everything. I'm inviting you into the very thing that you desire, and your spirit and your heart and your soul know it. It's just the mental conflict. The ego is fighting you because the ego doesn't want you to go out and do something by faith. It wants you to do things by certainty, which is called certainty sickness. When we have certainty sickness, we're afraid to do the things. And all of you out there, there's something that you're afraid of doing and you're not doing it. There's some part of your life that you're not accessing. There's some type of fulfillment that you're not laying hold of. Every single one of you out there, myself included, there's some part of something in our life that we are not doing because we have certainty sickness. We're just fucking afraid to do something without knowing what's going to happen. Or we're just afraid to trust our spiritual gift. Or we're afraid to step out and be authentic and true to who we are and not give a shit about what people think, what people say, or what they're going to think or what they're going to do by us coming out of the closet and being 100% ourselves, or allowing this spiritual force to come through us, whatever that spiritual gift is, and not completely have to micromanage it or not have to understand how it works the way it works, what it's going to do, how it's going to do it, and try to figure out the end from the beginning and all the things in between. Micromanaging, control freak. It's releasing. It's like, I'm going to just allow this thing to show up for me and prove to me that force is here. It's in me. It's not going anywhere. I can't lose it. It can't abandon me because I am it and it is me. It can't go anywhere. I can't lose this. There's nothing to be afraid of other than fear itself. That's it. That's all there is. Fear, most people are just afraid of being afraid. Because if you take inventory of your life, I guarantee every single one of you out there, if you look at your life, there's things that you've been afraid of that you've already gone through, you've already experienced. You've already been cheated on. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to be cheated on. Well, you were cheated on. You're still here, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, well, I was afraid of someone died. Well, did someone die? Yeah. Are you still here? Yeah. What else are you afraid of? Well, I was afraid that I was going to get fired at my job. Have you been fired before? Have you lost a job? Yeah. Are you still here? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. Every single one of us is afraid of something that we've already gone through, sometimes even worse than the things that we're actually afraid of. And we're still here. We're still fine. We're still being taken care of. Like, so what is it that we're actually afraid of? We're just afraid of the feeling of being afraid. We're afraid of our nervous system's response to mental bullshit, right? So, the message that's trying to reach you, Rhonda, has to do with all of that. The flames of desire is, you know what lights your soul. The universe is saying you have a deep knowing. You know what sets your soul on fire. You know deep down within you, you know what sets your soul on fire. You know what your passion is. You probably have seen or tasted or experienced your spiritual gift at work. You know. I think you know what this thing is. And the universe is saying, hey, just unleash me. Set me free. Trust me and unleash me, and I'll show you that I'm here with you, and I'm show you that we are a team, and I'm here with you, and there's no separation. And if you trust me, even though it's weird, just like me right now, I'm doing all this, I'm saying all this stuff. It's weird, it's bizarre, and I'm just allowing whatever comes through me to come through me, you know, but it is what it is. If you can just allow that force to work through you, you'll be shown the same thing. And then here, it's time for a change. You know that you know, the deep knowing. You know that 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 you know. How many more days, Rhonda? How many more weeks? How many more months, Rhonda? How many more years, Rhonda, are you going to stay the same thing? How many more Groundhog Days are you going to do? How many more days are you going to get up out of bed and go, man, my God, another same day, another the same day, the same day. All the while, your spirit is inside of you, reminding you, poking you with your passion, poking you with your purpose, poking you with your calling, stirring it up inside of you, because it's not going to leave you alone. Your spirit's not just going to let you roll through Groundhog's Day the rest of your life. I mean, you can. Your ego, your free will, we can do it. We can say, oh, you know what? I know that I know that I know. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Every day I wake up and I feel my calling screaming at me. Come on, man. Do it. Do it. Go for it. Come out of the closet. 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 Set me free. Set me free. Set me free. Set me free. And we're in control. We have to allow, we have to give permission to that thing to come through. Which leads us here. Follow the path of your soul. And you know this. It's not, and I'm where are my surrender cards here? Well, I'll get these as I kind of wrap this up for you. But it's not so much, I don't even think anything that I've told you, anything that I've said is new for you. I think you've heard all this before in a different way, maybe in a different reading or different words or explained a different way. But I don't think that I'm telling you anything that your own spirit, your own knowledge, or some other person hasn't already told you in some way, some shape, some form, some capacity. It's just a repeat message. And it's not the information, it's not the knowledge here that gives you the power to set yourself free. It's coming out of the closet. Coming out of the closet is what sets us all free. And that it's scary as hell. I was scared shitless to do this. Even more so because I come from a poster Christian background. These cards are demonic and evil and witchcraft and I'm going to go to hell. I believed in that stuff. Hardcore believed in that stuff. Like for over 30 years of my life. I'm 43. So it's only been in like the last, I don't know, five or 6 years that I've been open to all of this. So most of my life, you know, this shit was evil, demonic. You're going to go to hell. Devil's going to come out of these cards and jump on you and get demon possessed and your head's going to turn, you're going to vomit and priests are going to come over and splash holy water on you and you're going to rape yourself with a cross or something, you know, like that's what I believed. And so when I started to learn all of this and I got the same type of message that I'm giving you now, where it's like, hey dude, it's time to come out of the closet. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Everybody I know is a Christian. Everybody I know is from that background. Everybody that I know, literally, like, they're going to think I've sold my soul to the devil, to Satan. Like, what happened to Eddie? He sold his soul to Natas, Beelzebub, the devil. He's demonic. What happened to him? He lost his salvation, and he rejected Jesus Christ, and now he's serving the devil. Like, you know, it was no joke, man. I mean, coming out of the closet, for me, is one of the most frightening things that I've ever done. But it's one of the most liberating things that I've ever done, and most empowering things I've ever done. And I don't regret it. No, I never will. And I don't care what anybody thinks. And you know what? Nobody gave a shit. That's the crazy thing about it. All of my mental conflict about coming out of the closet, nobody gave a shit. Nobody cares. Everybody else out there is living their life, doing their thing. I've never been, I've never had people come and, hey, what are you doing? You're demonic, you're witchcraft. I've never had anybody come at me, attack me, knock on wood. But if they did, so what? Like all the things that I was worried about from coming out of the closet, none of it happened. None of it. Zero. Zilch. Hence the whole FEAR acronym, false evidence appearing real, right? So, what does Rhonda need to surrender? In addition to all of these messages, what does she need to surrender specifically? You cannot make this shit up. I hope you guys all just saw that card flew out of this deck as I'm shuffling on camera. These two kind of rolled out of the deck, but this one came out. This one came out with the force. And you know what this card says? This is how how I know that what I'm doing is not me. This right here. Surrender to your full power. Everything we said. What does this card say? Power. Surrender to your full power. Look, we got this lion here. We got this guy here with the face of a lion here. I mean, your spiritual team is all over you, Rhonda. Like, I mean, they're all over you. I mean, it's like a water balloon fight, and you can't, like, you're just getting bombarded with all of the water balloons. Like, you can't even respond or react because you're getting hit with so many of them. Like your spiritual team is just all over you right now. This card says your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing small. Follow your soul's path. It's time for a change. It's just more repeated messages. This one says surrender to the beauty of the natural world. It says take a relaxing break and spend time in nature, replenishing yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy there. Yeah, it's basically saying, like, anything that will help you get out of this mental conflict stuff. Surrender your fear of intimacy. Now, this could have to do with the emotional side of things, but and while I get a dual energy on that, yeah, you may have fear of intimacy, like when it comes to partnerships, relationships, things, but there's a deeper meaning to this card as well. Surrender of the fear of the intimacy of you hiding behind the mask of yourself. There's some part of, I don't know, it could be your story, your experience, trauma, or something you've experienced where it's like there's a fear of going too deep within yourself because you're afraid of what you're going to see there, what you're going to meet there, what's going to come up out of you, what you're going to have to relive or revisit or re-experience. There's something here about you having a fear of going too deep within yourself because of something. I don't know what that is, but you know what that is. And then we have surrender to your soul's path. Dude, I seriously, man, I should just, like, why am I not like a millionaire fucking psychic right now? Come on. You can't make this shit up. Look, follow, just so everybody can see, follow the path of your soul. Surrender to your soul's path. what else can I say? I'll read the card. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson in every moment. Rhonda, 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 Rhonda. My sister from another mister. You beautiful, badass soul. The time is now. It's your time, Rhonda. It's your time. It is your time. Not a day later, not a week later, not a month later, not a year later, not a book later, not a course later, not a learning later, not an experience later. My friend, you are ready now. Right here, right now. You are ready for this calling. So, for those of you that are still here, that have been listening, I want us all to do something for our sister, our wonderful friend and sister Rhonda. And I want you guys to put a heart in the chat to celebrate Rhonda's coming out party. You didn't know that tonight, on this full moon, whatever the thing is that we're doing right now, whatever's happening, the crazy full moon, we're dropping hearts in the chat for you, and we're all sending you love. We're all sending you confidence. We're all believing in you collectively tonight, because tonight is your coming out party. This officially is Rhonda's coming out party. If I could stop the live and if I could rename this live reading to something other than free tarot readings, I would rename this live reading to Rhonda's coming out party. That's what I would call this reading. And for me, that's what it will be called. So technically, I'm in Eastern time zone. It's October 18th. It's 10/18/2024. And tonight we celebrated Rhonda's coming out party. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. All the other information is in the description box below. And as always, my friends,
I'm not a bloody psychic.